Jessica and I play the clarinet. We have been working really hard on this music and are excited to share our learning with you tonight.
Buenas noches y bienvenidos a la evaluación de la banda de séptimo y octavo grado de la Escuela Secundaria de Correspondiente a Mayo. Soy Chris y toco el saxofón. Hemos estado trabajando mucho en esta música y nos entusiasma compartir lo que hemos aprendido con vosotros esta noche.
Добрый вечер. Добро пожаловать на майский отчетный концерт оркестра средней школы «Орегон» с участием учеников 7 и 8 классов. Меня зовут Соня, и я играю на кларнете. Мы очень усердно работали над этой музыкой и с радостью представляем вам сегодня вечером результаты наших занятий.
I'm Kelly and I play trombone. As you ready yourself to this performance, we ask a couple things of you.
Soy Jeremiah y toco el clarinete. Mientras se preparan para esta actuación, los pedimos un par de cosas.
Please silence all cell phones.
Por favor, silencien todos los teléfonos.
If you need to use the restroom, please exit and enter during applause.
Si necesita usar el baño, por favor salga y entre durante los aplausos.
Please be sure to stay for the entire concert. All students have worked hard and deserve the same audience.
Por favor, quédense hasta el final del concierto. Todos los estudiantes se han esforzado mucho y merecen el mismo público.
Огромное спасибо, что пришли сегодня вечером и поддержали всех нас. Мы очень ценим вас.
Thank you so much for coming and supporting all of us. We appreciate you.
the trumpet.
Hola, soy Juan y toco la trompeta.
Our first piece tonight was Pinnacle. It is a piece that talks about rondo form and how to emphasize accented notes compared to non-accented notes.
Nuestra primera pieza de esta noche fue Pinnacle. Es una pieza que nos enseñó sobre la forma del rondo y cómo enfatizar las notas acentuadas en comparación con los no acentuadas.
Our next piece is Ghost Riders by Roland Barrett. Legend has it that in the 1870s, a rancher was taking his cattle to the market when homesteader's fear watered into his herd. The rancher would not give the cattle back, and the homesteader got angry, so he snuck onto his property and scared the cattle into running over a cliff to their death. The next morning, the rancher disposed of the homesteader out of anger. To this day, cattle stampede in that very spot in Texas, and legend says that ghost riders, or phantom cowboys, are seen above.
Nuestra siguiente pieza es Ghost Riders de Roland Barrett. Cuenta la leyenda que en la década de 1870 un ranchero llevaba su ganado al mercado. Cuando el ganado de un colono se metió en su rebaño, el ranchero se negó a devolver el ganado y el colono enfureció, se coló en su propiedad y asustó al ganado, provocando que cayera por un precipicio y muriera. A la mañana siguiente, el ranchero, furioso, se deshizo del colono. Hasta el día de hoy, el ganado desboca en ese mismo lugar de Texas y la leyenda dice que se ven jinetes fantasma o vaqueros espectrales por encima. A través de la música escucharon la acción y la aventura de esta historia. Comienza con calma y tranquilidad y gradualmente se vuelve más intensa a medida que avanza la música. La música incluye una sección donde muchos instrumentos improvisan sus partes, lo que aumenta la intensidad. Aquí está Ghost Riders.
Through the music, you will hear the action and adventure of the very story. It begins calm and quiet, and gradually becomes more intense as the music goes on. The music includes a section where many instruments have to improvise their parts, which adds to the intensity.
Something I really like about this piece is the motif of it. Actually, I think it's really it's very it's a strong motif, and we get to play it a lot too, which is pretty fun. So, anyways, this is Ghost Riders.
percussion.
Hello, I'm Jeremiah and I play the clarinet.
Our next piece is Midnight Zoomies by Emily Graham. Have you ever heard a cat that is awake during the night causing mischief? That is exactly what this piece is about. Cats that have the midnight zoomies.
As you listen to this piece, see if you can hear musical representation of cats running around in the middle of the night. You will hear the sound of the clock striking 12. You will hear a cat purring and hissing. You will hear cats being sneaky and then running. You will hear their caregivers getting out of bed, tired and frustrated, and bringing them back to bed. And then finally at the end, all going back to sleep until the very last note when the eyes of the cats open again. Something I like about this piece is all the dynamics throughout the song. Here is Midnight Zoomies.
I tried to give them the reference in that last one of Godzilla, like at the end of the Godzilla movie when, he opens his eyes. But they don't know that one. So I was the old person in that moment because at the end of that, the cat opens his eyes and does the mischief again, right? So, yeah. Before I have them introduce this last piece, I want to take a second and just recognize all the students in 7th grade that participated in solo and ensemble. Could you stand up, please, and be recognized? And if you're standing, you can wave in the back. We had a great showing at Solo and Ensemble this year in Stoughton, and next year we are hosting here in Oregon, so it'll be great. All right, passing it on.
Hello, I'm Chelsea, and I play the euphonium.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I play the bari sax.
Our last piece is Crocodile Rock by Elton John and arranged by Paul Murtha. This piece was originally written by Elton John in the 70s as a tribute to the dance music of the 50s and 60s. In fact, it is one of his least favorite songs to perform. He knows it is a huge crowd pleaser, which is why he plays it at every performance.
This piece is a bit of a challenge because of all the syncopated rhythms, pop music, while fun to play, is often quite hard to play because of the rhythms involved. We have worked hard on counting these rhythms and learning some new ideas like DSL coda through this piece. Something I like about this piece is because the rhythm, because it gets you going.
Hello, I'm Izzy. Viva La Vida was written in 2008. It is translated to Long Live Life. It is a pop anthem centered on themes of power, downfall, and historical religious reflection. The original begins with strings and piano before the vocals take over. The composer arranged it for flute choir, which is what you will be hearing tonight. Here's Viva La Vida.
Hello, I'm Calvin, and I play percussion, and this is the 8th grade band.
Hello, I'm Nora, and I play the flute.
Hello, I'm Andres and I play the trumpet.
Здравствуйте, я Соня, и я играю на кларнете.
Hola, soy Natalia y toco el clarinete.
The first piece you heard the 8th grade band play was Fanfare for the Third Planet by Richard Saucedo. It is a piece that taught us some new rhythms and about, while pushing the tempo to be faster, to not play louder.
Первым произведением, которое вы услышали в исполнении оркестра 8 класса, стала фанфара для третьей планеты Ричарда Суседа. Эта песня научила нас новым ритмам, а также тому, как ускоряет темп, не увеличив при этом громкость звучания.
Tonight we are going to introduce all the 8th grade pieces at once in an effort to keep things moving along swiftly this evening. Our next piece, Southern Hymn by Samuel Hazo, is a complete change of pace as it is much slower. While technically it is not tough, it has pushed us to listen to each other across the band, focus on our tone, listen for intonation, be sure we are paying attention to phrasing and when we breathe, and so much more. While looking at the music, it doesn't necessarily look hard, unless of course you look at the first trumpet part and how high the notes are. However, musically, this piece has proven to not be easy.
Esta noche vamos a presentar todas las piezas de 8º grado para agilizar el ritmo. Nuestra siguiente pieza supone un cambio de ritmo total, ya que es mucho más lenta. Si bien técnicamente no es difícil, nos ha obligado a escucharnos entre nosotros en toda la banda, a concentrarnos en nuestro sonido, a prestar atención a la entonación, a asegurarnos de que estamos atentos al fraseo y a cuando respiramos. A simple vista, la partitura no parece difícil, a menos que se observe la parte de la primera trompeta y los agudos que son sus notas. Musicalmente, esta pieza ha demostrado no ser fácil.
Hi, my name is Sylvia and I play the alto saxophone and the clarinet. After that, we will play the KV Fear by Michael Markowski. I invite you to take some time and read the program notes. The composer began his career writing for films, and you can really feel that in this piece. It truly feels like you are in a cave. This piece has allowed us to experience new things. Saxophones get to do multiphonic effects. Trumpets get to do a growl type of sound. Percussion gets to use Super Bowl mallets on the timpani and the tam-tam. Percussion also creates a lion roar sound using the low tom drop, a string and a washer, some rosin, and a microphone. It is really neat what can be created to make some sounds in the music.
Después tocaremos The KV Fear de Michael Markowski. Les invito a leer las notas del programa. El compositor comenzó con su carrera escribiendo para películas, y eso se nota en esta pieza. Realmente te sientes como si estuvieras en una cueva. Esta obra nos ha permitido experimentar cosas nuevas. Los saxofones realizan efectos multifónicos. Las trompetas emiten un sonido gutural. La percusión utiliza mazos de goma en los timbales y el tam-tam. Además, la percusión crea un rugido de león con un golpe de tom grave, una cuerda, una arandela, resina y un micrófono. Es realmente fascinante lo que se puede crear para generar sonidos en la música.
Finally, we will play Caravana After Party by Omar Thomas. This piece is definitely a party and maybe our most challenging piece. It is very syncopated and has lots of tough rhythms throughout the entire band. Caravana is a former name of the largest Caribbean carnival celebration outside the Caribbean itself, which takes place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The composer wrote this piece to represent Caribbean dance music, specifically calypso and soca music. He grew up in Guyana, which is a very diverse South American nation that has very strong Caribbean cultural ties. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Could you hear the lions roar? Microphone out here, kind of? Well, Omar has had a love-hate relationship with that lion's roar. Right, Omar? So what that is it's a tom drum that has a hole in the middle with a string and a washer, and you put rosin on it like you do a bow. And he's got a rag, and he's trying to make sound, and it's amplified. And today we finally made sound out of it for probably the first time in a while, right, Omar? Yeah, we've had a love-hate relationship with that. We borrowed that from New Glarus, so we thank our New Glarus friends for lending us their lion's roar. All right, while they're sort of getting situated, it takes percussion a little while to get situated for this one. I also want to recognize the students that participated in solo and ensemble that's up here. If you're a percussionist, you can wave. Stand on up if you participated in solo and ensemble. 8th graders. And then we also had some students up here that participated in state solo ensemble, so if we could have them stand as well. Alrighty, so a few housekeeping things first. Tonight we have to strike the stage. So I shouldn't say that. A lot of the percussion, the big percussion goes back to the band room. Some of the percussion is our stuff, and we're gonna ask all the 8th grade percussionists to help us with that, because they know which stuff is ours, I hope. And if any 7th grade percussionists would like to help us, that'd be great too, because hopefully you also know what stuff is ours and what stuff belongs to the high school. If you don't know, ask first. Because the stuff that belongs to us can stay out here because we'll load that in our cars or have it for tomorrow. And then chairs, we will put on racks, and stands we'll put on racks and all that stuff too. We are still playing. We still have 3 weeks of school left, so we're not gonna just not play for the next 3 weeks. So we've told the students to make sure they bring their instruments back. We're not gonna play tomorrow unless they have a small group tomorrow. So we've asked them all to make sure they bring their instruments back tomorrow or sometime this week, but some kids do have a small group tomorrow. In the back, your last noteworthy message of the year is back there on the table if you want to write a noteworthy message to the band or to your student or whatever. We do post those. Try to do it tomorrow right away. And then I have a bunch of thank yous. First is thank you to the OHS music staff here and students for helping set things up, percussion and the Mr. Mendel and Olivia and Amelie. I don't know if anyone else is up there. They're up there doing all the lights and sound here. OCA Media, who does all the live streaming for us. If you could send them an email thanking them, that would be great. That would be really appreciative. Also the OBA, the Oregon Band Advocates, who do so much for our students, fundraising, all of that stuff. They're setting up the dessert out there today. That would be great. And they're always looking for volunteers. You get emails about OBA all the time. You don't have to go to a meeting to be active in OBA. You can just help with little things here and there. So in the fall, when we send out an email, it would be great to have some help. OMS staff and administration, we have students come for small groups. We had students out today doing this, so we are very thankful for them as well. And then of course, all of you for supporting what happens up here all the time. and all the interesting sounds you might have heard in your house. Over like that saxophone sound you just heard. When I was thinking about doing this piece, I thought, am I torturing myself for the next few months? I don't know if you knew that with saxophones. Saxophones, you want to do that right now so they know that was you? No. Yes. Did you really just say no? Are you tired of doing it?
That's right. What are we doing?
The multiphonic that you just did? Yeah. We're not going to tell the 7th graders how to do that. Right? 7th graders, you're not going to learn that. I know. Maybe someday. Maybe when you're 8th graders, you'll learn. And then, we want also to remind the 7th graders to take your instrument home. Sometimes because you're out here and your instrument's in there, then when we go to clean up in there, we find instruments left behind, and we're like, how did that happen? So don't forget to get your instrument after you eat all the wonderful dessert out there, to grab your instrument from the orchestra room as well. And then of course, Mr. Cornelli, Mr. Dorn, and I, you guys want to come out here? I see your fun glasses, Mr. Cornelli, come on out. Oh, look at him. We also want to say how much we wish this group of 8th graders luck at the high school next year. This is our last concert, and it's a little bittersweet because we have made some great music this year. I told the 7th graders the same thing, that we have made so much growth this year as a class, musically for sure. And I told the 7th graders too, I haven't told these guys yet, that we're going to explore some of our first sounds together as 7th graders within the next few weeks, which should be fine. That's the beauty of OCA Media and having videos which is not only fun to hear their music sounds, but also their voice sounds when they volunteer to talk on this microphone. We don't listen to those sounds like when we watch the video the next day, but we watch them 2 years later. So I enjoy that. I don't think they do, but I enjoy that. So we will be doing that in the next couple of weeks. Look how excited Eli is here. He's loving this. So anyways, we 8th graders, we all wish you luck when you go to the high school next year. Make sure you come and say hi to us. We will miss you when you're at the high school, but we are not that far away, and we will see you again, for sure. So, with that, let's do some Caravana, huh? Let's do it.